about going vegan, they ask me, how do I keep, especially the ladies, how do I keep my curves and be on a vegan or plant-based diet or even a raw vegan diet? And you can totally be a bodybuilder with a vegan diet and gain muscle, because that's where some of the strongest animals get their protein, directly from the source with no middleman. So for example, leafy green vegetables, especially the dark ones like kale, they have more protein than meat per calorie. So all of that information is in the starter guide. And once again, it's mayamaya.com/lifestyle. So lots of information, lots of components of directories inside how to go vegan, but also in baby steps. It takes you from flexitarian to pescatarian, which is including seafood in your diet, into vegetarianism, which is cutting out the seafood. But some vegetarians, like ovo vegetarians, still have dairy. Lacto still have eggs. Ovo lacto still have eggs and dairy. And then eventually, after you wean yourself off of certain things, you can get into vegan life, and then less processed vegan foods, into the alkaline space after raw. You can take it in baby steps and strides, or in phases. That's how I did it. Eventually became vegan, and now I'm more raw vegan than any other time in my life. It's 90% now. Just a couple weeks ago, when I was in the dungeon of the studio lockout, I was 80-20, and then progressed to 90-10. But I'm on the road right now in quarantine, out of the country, getting ready to do a film. So I'm trying to make sure I stay the same weight, because sometimes in your contracts you can't fluctuate, but it makes the character look a little strange if they shoot out of order. Sometimes it's not chronological when you're shooting on set. So you could be shooting the last scene, and then on your last day shoot the beginning of the film. So it's really interesting how film works and how they shoot, which is why usually there's a clause that says you cannot fluctuate in weight. Sometimes you can't even go get a tan anywhere, because you have to remain the same skin tone. It's really wild, because you can tell the continuity difference on camera. So it's kind of like a little Ray J hat challenge. If your body is changing, you can't dye your hair unless the character in the flashback scene calls for it. So that's kind of how film works on the little behind the scenes tip and contractual tip. But TMI, that's what it is. How do you maintain weight? I don't want to lose weight if I go vegan. That might sound selfish, but I really don't want to lose weight, says Conscious Beauty by Kristen. Well, Kristen, you can actually gain a lot of weight being vegan. For example, rice is vegan. Potatoes are vegan. French fries are vegan. Pasta is vegan. Now, French fries are vegan when you don't get them from the fast food places, because they usually cook them on the same grill or space as the animal fats. So technically they can't be vegan sometimes, but fries are still vegan when you're making them yourself. And a lot of carbs can plump you up. So it's very important to get your vegetables in, just for your digestion and your nutrition. But you can totally gain weight, be out of shape as a vegan. There's a healthier, cleaner way to eat as vegan, and that's going towards more of the raw, holistic approach of plant-based foods, and in their whole state, instead of the processed state or even the overcooked state. When you overcook foods, you start losing the enzymes and nutrients that feed your body and your immune system all that it needs to function properly for optimal health. So, you can still warm up your foods as a raw vegan, but you cannot cook it past, I would say, 118 degrees. All that's in the starter guide too. And that's how you maintain the best health. without starving, of course. Vegan also does not mean rabbit food. You can still have pizza with the vegan cheese substitute. You can still have chicken, but plant-based chicken made out of chickpeas, for example, with dehydrated flax seeds, and sometimes they combine wild rice inside to make patties and all these cool combinations and processes. Some people are against soy, and I understand that, so you can choose soy-free products. But either way, the more processed side will definitely pump you up. But it's a nice transition to have that texture if you don't like mushrooms or you don't like beans. But you can get a lot of proteins from your nuts, your seeds, your legumes, your beans, and your leafy greens. And even some fruits have protein, like jackfruit is the world's, I think, one of the world's largest fruits and the world's richest fruit in protein. And you can survive off of that for a whole week yourself. And some of them are so big where a family of 7 can survive off of it for a whole week. But that's more in the like Southeast Asian territories, Thailand, etc. So anyway, mayamaya.com/lifestyle for the free starter guide, and it has a lot of that information: your vitamin D, your vitamin K, your vitamin B, your vitamin A, minerals. Sea moss is great too. But go ahead and check that out because it's free right now. And y'all know, I know some of you don't like to read long books and pamphlets and too much information. So I have been working on the audiobook and constantly adding information, plus a reface of the starter guide that I'll release when it's ready. I think when I finish these albums and they're fully mixed and mastered and the photo shoot and all that kind of stuff is done, y'all will get that next, because I'm all over the place with things I want to birth and put out in the universe. But you'll definitely have it in audiobook form so that you can just kind of listen while you're multitasking on the treadmill or washing dishes or cooking and meal prepping or whatever it is you want to do, just chilling in the bed. So that's on the way, so you don't necessarily have to read. Reading sometimes makes people fall asleep, especially if it's information you ain't ready for. And some of it's very heavy. But yeah, so that was a good question.